Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. I swear, man, they always trying to keep a man down. Let's see. But there's more than one way to skin a cat. All right, so I'm gonna figure this out. Facebook trying to keep me down, man. This is crazy. I'm gonna figure this out. They're trying to block me from going live on my page, and that is not cool. But I'm gonna figure this out. We're gonna get around that for sure. Good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. I will be getting started here momentarily. I'm just getting some little maintenance out the way right now with my page. I went live on my the Captain's Quarters show Facebook page, but now they got these stipulations that you have to meet in order to go live. And so I'm not able to just go live directly from my page like I was. And so it's all good. I'm still live. So I'm live through my personal page, and then I'll just share it to my professional page. We'll just do it like that. But what I do need people to do is head over to the Captain's Quarters Show Facebook page. The Captain's Quarters Show Facebook page. Hit that like, hit that follow. All right. I'm at like 80, 81 or 82, somewhere in there. Followers. I need to get that on up. Let's get that up. So share my videos, share this video, of course. And like I said, hit that like and hit that follow. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like, hit the subscribe. I do appreciate it. I'm at like 100, like 875 or something like that subscribers on YouTube. So on my way to my first 1,000 over there, and on my way to my first 100 followers on the Captain's Quarters Show Facebook page. let's see here now. Doo, 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 doo. I got a lot to talk about. It's going to be a mixture of information. So some will be more lighthearted, less serious. But then, of course, I got to talk about the serious stuff. Got to discuss it. But there is some really if it comes out to be true, um, this will be huge as far as local politics in Montgomery, Alabama. Now, I'm going to share that article that I do have, and I'm going to discuss certain parts of it because it is very detailed and it shows over years of time different backroom dealings and whatnot between Mayor Reed and some certain other individuals. One of the individuals that was involved in this like fraud housing scheme apparently committed suicide during her investigation. Um, there was another death that was seemingly, right, allegedly covered up by some politicians, and it gets deep. It does get deep. So I'm gonna share that article a little bit later and discuss what's in that article. Because it is uh, a huge story if everything is true. But I also want to talk about, of course, the miss. Let me do my quotes right. I don't want to be incorrect because I was making fun of her, and so I did it incorrectly when I kind of explained, she was the Miss Alabama, but she really is not Miss Alabama. But I do have an article. I'm going to discuss that as well and try to clear the air on this lady, this morbidly obese female named Sarah Milliken, all right, out of Atmore, Alabama, that won this pageant and it made international news. So I'm going to talk about that and clear the air about her situation and what she really did win, okay? Because it wasn't Miss Alabama, all right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Mystic Luna 777, hello fam from Gaston. I already know who that is. What's up, cuz? I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I'm going to have this is gonna be a pretty long show because there's a lot that I gotta discuss. There's a lot to discuss. And also before I do get started with all with the content, this Friday, 3 days from now, June 14th, 2024, tune in 9 a.m. All right, Central Time, 9 a.m. Central Time. I'm gonna have a special guest, Adonis Huffman. He's from right here in Montgomery, Alabama. I met him back when he was a young man. I was as well, but I believe I got a good about 5 years on him. But I remember when this young man was just learning the game of bowling. All right, I kind of just learned it myself just prior to meeting him, but I saw him just getting to the bowling alley, learning how to um learn the game of bowling. And lo and behold, this young man grew up, learned and practiced and put the time and the work in, and he has been bowling with the pros for years and years. As a matter of fact, he's been a part of PBA tournaments. If you don't know what PBA, that's the Professional Bowling Association. So that's like the top. That's the NBA of bowling. All right. So he has been a part of that. And he just, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's either in Las Vegas right now or maybe just got back from being in a tournament out there. So I will have him on. He's going to discuss his, learn his journey of learning the game of bowling, and then also he does outreach, youth outreach, for bowling leagues and whatnot. So we're going to discuss his outreach and ways for you to have your young kids get involved in bowling. It's a great game. Um, just a very, relaxed environment. It teaches you a lot about focus and keeping your nerves calm, and just a rhythm, getting into a rhythm of bowling. It's just fun game, very fun game. So great for kids. Great for kids. If you don't want your child to be playing football or soccer or something like that, it's very physical and they can get injured. Bowling is a great option. All right, a great alternative because it's non-contact. It's you in that lane. It's you, the ball in the lane. All right, in the pins. That's it. So I will have him on this Friday morning, 9 a.m. The Captain's Quarters show. I will have Adonis Huffman joining me. So working and listening. I appreciate that. Working and listening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, let me see here. Let me finish doing a little maintenance work. Let me finish doing a little maintenance, making sure. Making sure that I'm visible to people, man, because Facebook is a trip. I mean, I love y'all Facebook. I love y'all Facebook, but Facebook is a trip. They try to block. They try to hold me down, man. I'm trying to make moves and grow, and they trying to do things to hinder me in my growth. But it's all good 'cause I'm gonna figure out other ways of doing things to keep my elevation. All right, so we gonna keep this thing moving. Da, 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 da. Man, I don't know about where everybody is and where y'all live, what man, but it is hot in Alabama. Hot. Like that hot where like, you know what I'm saying? You in a room, like picture yourself in a room at a party and there's no air conditioning and it's like 100 people in this small room, you know what I'm saying? And everybody breathing on everybody and you feel like hot breath on your back of your neck and people just sweating and yeah, I mean, it's like that. Walk outside in Alabama, just walk outside the door. You feel like you're in a brick oven. I mean, you feel like you are a New York pizza getting cooked. It's crazy. This is ridiculous. I'm not a person. I'm not a person that believes in what they call it, global warming and climate change, and they got all these different names. I'm just saying it's hot. All I know is the weather is hot. I don't know about no climate change and global warming. I don't know about global. I know in Alabama it's hot. I know that. Crazy. Let's see here. Ridiculously hot. I think it's like close to 100 degrees today. Y'all pardon me. I'm just getting just trying to share my video. Oh yeah, yeah, of course that one, of course that one. Of course that one. Let's see. David Humphrey. What's up, David? Hot Box, Alabama, man. But what they say, man, you ain't never lied. That's what it for real. You ain't never lied, man. It's hot. It's a hot box, man. A hot oven, man. It feel like your skin boiling outside. All right, all right, all right. So as y'all come in, hit that like, hit that like, hit that share. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Let's get this thing started, man. So you are watching the Captain's Quarters show hosted by Milliner. I'm back again. It's Tuesday morning. We got a lot to discuss. All right, first on the agenda. First on the agenda. David said, hotter it gets, more people with mental health comes out. Facts, man. Boy, it's like nighttime. It's like that full moon effect where it's like at nighttime and then it's a full moon. It's like all the freaks come out and it gets crazy and wild. That heat brings out the worst in people. Like the worst. The worst. Right? So people are already dealing with what they're dealing with in life. But man, they come outside in that heat and it's like a trigger. All of a sudden they go from just a little irritated, a little bothered. Man, let you pull out in front of them or cut them in line or bump into them on accident or look their way and not smile the right way or something. Man, people will lose their mind. All right. That's when you see a lot more violence happen in the heat. It's just real. It's just real. Go to Buffalo, New York in the wintertime. Ain't nobody outside. I've been there in the wintertime. I've been to Buffalo, New York in the winter. It's snowing like crazy. People got big fur coats on with the fur lining. Like you in the house. Like after so much snow piles up, you can't even leave the house. So ain't not too much is going on, right? Now they may have some, domestic issues because you're stuck in the house, but like as far as like businesses getting robbed and stuff, man, ain't nobody has time to go out in 4 feet of snow to go rob the hardware store. You know what I'm saying? But down in Alabama, man, these folks use the heat as a cover. Like it's just they going out, they going all out, doing whatever. Anyway, so let's get to this. This lady, Sarah Milliken, all right, she just won this pageant. Now, when I first saw this story, it said that she was named Miss Alabama, right? So, look, man, I don't know anything about pageants for real. That's not my lane. I don't know all the pageants. All right. So when I saw the headline, I'm like, yet again, like I really wasn't shocked because we've seen so many other pageants and different contests where they'll give it to anybody, right? You could be a man playing as a female, and they'll give you they'll give that man the woman award, like whatever it is. So to see this big morbidly obese female get named, Miss Alabama, I wasn't shocked, but it was like, oh man, here we go again. That's really what it was for me. Like, here we go again, right? And so I said, you know what? I started seeing people saying she didn't win Miss Alabama. She's not Miss Alabama. I'm like, well, what are they talking about? Because the international news says Miss Alabama. So I got this article. Let me go ahead and bring this in. And this is from 1819 News. All right. Shout out to 1819 News. All right. I could look, man. I don't know if they consider it. I consider y'all friends of the show. All right. I don't know if it's mutual or not, but I got love for 1819 News because to me they put out just the most common sense articles and just explain things in just make it basic, like we understand it, right? Explain it to me like I'm in kindergarten. That's what they do. So shout out to them. So they got this article. All right. What's the big deal? Miss Alabama, Sarah Milliken isn't the real Miss Alabama. Uh-oh. You don't say. Now, and there she is. Oh my Lord, there she is. Let me tell y'all something, man. No disrespect to anybody. Look, I'm a chubby little dude myself, man. I'm chubby, I'm a little fat. I need to lose some weight. All right, cool. I'm not finna be playing like I'm supposed to be Mr. Universe. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not over here playing like I'm like Mr. Iron Man, CrossFit American or whatever they got these. I'm not playing like that. So likewise, I don't think that she should be playing like she's the face of beauty. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's see here. Let's go down. But that's a big old female, though. I'll tell you that much. All right. So, an Atmore woman who won a state pageant, is getting a lot of attention, but not in the way she probably hoped. Sarah Milliken worked for 8 years to win the title of Miss National American Alabama. All right, y'all notice that. Notice the name, Miss National American Alabama. Finally, in 2024, after 3 attempts, she was crowned in May. She was interviewed by WKRG in Mobile, and that's when her story went viral. And it went viral because she is a big sensation. All right. I mean, no pun intended or pun intended, whatever. But my gosh. Wow. That's a all right. That's a massive human. All right. So let's see here. Let's get to the there's a nice video to watch. Y'all need to watch that video right there. Fat positive influencers are all dying. You don't say. Wow. I thought obese people live to be 100. Anyway, let's see here. Now, a week after Milliken appeared on WKRG, all right, that station down in Mobile, the station did another story about what they called cyberbullying and called it their #1 story. They also called her Miss Alabama, which is not her title. So that may be where they came from. The WKRG down in Mobile interviewed her. They called her Miss Alabama, and that's incorrect because she's not Miss Alabama. That's a whole nother agency, a whole nother pageant. Now, let's get to the base. Let's get to the specifics. Let's see here. National outlets quickly jumped on the bandwagon, continuing to call Milliken, quote unquote, Miss Alabama. However, the misrepresentation of the title has gotten the attention of many people, including former Miss Alabama, Amy Beth Shaver. And I remember her name too, by the way. I do remember that lady's name. Let's see here. Shaver explained that there is only one Miss Alabama title, and that is for the pageant that sends competitors to Miss America. There's also Miss Alabama USA, which sends contestants to Miss USA pageant. So basically, there's these many pageants. All right, there are many beauty pageants and different types of pageants. Even in the state of Alabama, they got different ones. And so calling her Miss Alabama is incorrect because there's an actual Miss Alabama pageant. The one that this lady, this morbidly obese female, the one that she won, all right, is not that. She won, like I said, let me go back up here. It was called Miss National American Alabama. All right, that's what it's called. NAM is the pageant name, National American Alabama, or something like that. Some along them lines. So there's a whole another pageant. Now, let's keep going in this article. Let's see here. Shaver said, so Miss Amy Shaver, that's the lady that actually has won Miss Alabama before. Shaver said Miss America owns the rights to Miss Alabama title, all right, which Shaver had won previously. So it is improper to use that title for another pageant. If you are a pageant person, you're only going to participate in either Miss America or Miss USA. Okay, that's true because even I don't know about all these pageants. I've always heard about Miss USA and Miss America. And I remember even thinking, like, aren't they the same thing? Like back in my youth, I would be like, aren't they the same? But they would be called something different. So now I understand more about why they call them something different, because they are different. Let's see here. The National American Miss Pageant Awards winners with scholarships, self-care products, and other prizes. The National American Miss. That's what this big female Sarah Milliken won. She won the Alabama division of that, of National American Miss. All right. Man, shout out to 1819 News, man. 1819 News coming with the facts and just giving it to us raw. That way there's no question about why she called this, why is she not called that, or why are they getting mad about her being called Miss Alabama? Well, here's the breakdown of why that is. Let's see here. That's basically the explanation right there. All right, so that's the explanation of why she's not Miss Alabama, because there's a whole other pageant. All right, they have different standards and all that good stuff, and she would not meet those standards. Let's just be real. But the National American Miss pageant, they got different, standards and whatnot. So they say that their program is based on positive self-image. So basically, you can identify as a healthy person, but you can be 450 pounds. And, as long as you identify as healthy, then you good, right? I guess if you got pneumonia, if you identify as a person who doesn't have pneumonia, then you don't have it. I guess that's how that works. I don't know, man. This is the new world. I'm just trying to keep up with y'all. Okay. Um, let's see. Of course, the things some people were saying were truly disgusting. I choose not to dwell on that. However, there's an importance to be had, and I feel I don't know what she's saying, but anyway, I feel that as a title holder, it would be extremely irresponsible for me to not address the second part of this story. I feel oftentimes people resort to cyberbullying because it doesn't feel real. She continued. This is Sarah Milliken speaking. It's just words on the screen, right? It can't possibly cause physical harm. Wrong. Victims of cyberbullying are twice more likely to engage in self-harm and suicidal behaviors. While she said she didn't have suicidal thoughts herself, she reminded those who are to call 988 for help. So, and shout out to Erica Thomas, that she's the author of this story. So shout out to her. She's on my friend list. What's up? What's up, Erica? All right. So, man, I mean, I'm gonna say this right here. She won an award. The award that she won was not Miss Alabama. That's something totally different. There's different pageants, and she won the National American Miss, or National American, whatever it's called. Yeah, National American Miss. But the Alabama version, totally different. Apparently, they got this thing where you can kind of like pay to play. So, from what I saw in a different article from 1819 News, they have these different things that you can pay for to give you more access to certain products, or get more exposure, that type of thing, right? So basically, if you buy the more products you buy and the more exposure you get, then they're more likely to put you into the finals, and you're more likely to win the pageant. That's what I saw. Whereas in Miss America or Miss USA pageants, it's the standards are, healthy, well spoken, community service, et cetera, et cetera. This one is not that, clearly. All right. Clearly this ain't that. So we can stop doing it. I was wrong when I said she was Miss Alabama. I was wrong. She's not Miss Alabama. Hope that clears it up. Now let's check out these. It was part of a agenda now. Yep. Yeah, it's just, y'all know their agenda, man. The agenda is to have low to no standards. That's really what the agenda is. If she can win it, I can be a big boy model or playgirl model. Man, hey, facts. Facts, man. Hey, I'm finna, I guess I could just go over here and just jump into any pageant and say, hey man, I belong, because I feel like I belong, right? It's not about the work that you put in or didn't put in. It's just, hey, I feel like I belong, so I belong. That's basically what people are saying now. Let's see. Adler Road. What's up, Adler Road? I appreciate you being here. Yeah, just the crazy just wild and crazy stuff going on. Let's see. David said it's also because we live in a world where everyone is a winner and everyone needs a trophy. That's why they make up all these other affiliates, pageants, teams, sports, etc. I mean, we got 4 or 5 different football teams for youth, from soft to actually football and now flag football. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. They literally, when people can't attain a certain level of a certain thing, like let's say football, for example, what they'll do is they'll branch off and create these other lesser competitive football leagues. And so, which here's my thing. Here's my thing. I personally don't have an issue with creating different leagues for different skill level people. But don't play like those people at a lesser skill level are better or as good as the people that are competing at the higher skill level. That's where we start having issues. Like, I'm not like I can bowl, okay? Like I know how to bowl, but I'm not gonna go and play like and join a league with guys that's bowling average 200 and just be like, hey, I belong with y'all and all this. Like if I'm not showing that my scores is not matching up, you see what I'm saying? If I'm bowling a 160 average, there's a big difference between 160 average and 200 average. All right, so if I want to be a part of bowling, cool. I'll go over here with the guys that's averaging 160. You know what I'm saying? Not go with the 200. You know what I'm saying? It's just we gotta stop mixing and blurring the lines of the standards. Let's see here. And David said cyberbullying is dangerous and shows how keyboard warriors operate. That's a fact. And yes, a lot of suicide within cyberbullying. Yep. And see, my thing with this is, what is cyberbullying? Because I think if you ask 10 people explain cyberbullying, you'll probably get about a good 6, 7, 8 different answers for what it is. And this huge female that won this pageant, like any person with with eyes they can see she's overweight. I mean, very unhealthy. So is it cyberbullying to say that she's unhealthy, she's morbidly obese, she's fat? Like, at what point is it cyberbullying? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I've heard somebody say the truth cannot be taken as disrespect, right? So if you're seeing something that's real and true, and you call it what it is that bullying the person because you're calling out what it is? It becomes a little murky. Now I think cyberbullying would be people telling her to go off herself or go harm herself because she's less than or whatever. I would never call her less than. I'm not going to tell her to go harm herself. Nothing like that. My thing is, be healthier. Let's not project people that are unhealthy and project them and put them out in front of everybody and say this is health. That's where we're missing the mark, right? We got kids looking at this young lady, 5, 6 year old little girls watching her and seeing this lady is huge. And so, and people are saying, oh, this big lady, she's the picture of beauty and health, and there's nothing wrong with her weight and stuff. Now we're teaching kids that it's okay to be that type of size and have that type of lifestyle. Not healthy. No, that lady is not going to live to be 70 years old that big. The average female in America lives to be 78, if I'm not mistaken. She ain't making it to 78. You know what I'm saying? I got money on that. She is not making it to 78. Not that size. Nah. So we just gotta be real. We gotta be real about it. Um Cyberbullying is an issue. It is an issue. There's a lot of keyboard warriors and things. I see them all the time. Trust me. I get messages that people wouldn't believe. if I've shared a few of those, but I get messages, man, that mm, boy, if I was a violent person, but anyway, I'm not violent. Um, let's see here. And speaking of cyberbullying and whatnot, I got this other article about this lady. Oh man, here we go. This is from Alabama Political Reporter. This is the left leaning news site. Okay, I'm just to let y'all know, left leaning. So 1819 News is more conservative. Alabama Political Reporter is on the left, is liberal, whatever. So anyway, they got an opinion piece. 1819 News is vicious attack on pageant winner is shameful, right? Um, I say wrong. I say wrong. But anyway, when 1819 News decided to fat shame a young woman, I mean, fat shame, what does that even mean? You mean to say what she is? I mean, let's just keep it real. Like, she's skinny? No. You know what I'm saying? Is she thin? Is she thin, skinny, athletic? I mean, none of that. Um. Anyway, let's see here. It says they not only crossed the line of decency, but also exposed their hypocritical nature. Sarah Milliken, after years of hard work, hard work. Was she doing hard work with eating candy bars and okay, all right. Finally achieved her dream, only to be attacked by those who claim to report news under the guise of journalism. Let's be clear, 1819 News isn't interested in facts. Are you serious? Let's see. They're interested in tearing down anyone who doesn't fit their narrow, judgmental views. Anyway, remember Mayor Bubba Copeland, who died by suicide after 1819 News outed him as a crossdresser. I do remember him. Yeah, I do remember him. Um, it's something in the Bible that says, how's it put? What's done in the dark will come to the light. Something along them lines. Um, that man was a pastor. All right, he was a pastor. Number one, first and foremost, he was a man, right? He claimed to be a man of God. He was also a husband. He was also a father. All right, and he was a pastor. So, if anybody's living a hypocritical lifestyle, it was that man. He's telling the world, showing the world that he's something. But behind closed doors, this man was dressing up in drag and all type of nonsense. Probably doing a whole bunch of other stuff that we don't need to talk about. But because he got called out for what he was doing behind closed doors, he took his own life. Now, God bless his family. It's terrible that they had to lose their a husband, a father, a brother, a uncle, whatever all he was to people in their lives. But he decided to be a hypocrite and do the complete opposite of what he was teaching and professing to be in public. Right? And he couldn't take that, and so he took his life. All right, that's nobody else's fault but his. Just make that clear. First they chose to nitpick over titles. So it's not nitpicking, right? It's not nitpicking because a title is the title. If you have an organization that's calling something one thing, and then you have another organization that's a whole nother separate entity calling something kind of similar but different, okay, you can't mix the two together. That's not how it works, right? It's not how it works. It's like the NBA and what's I ain't gonna use the NBA because I can't think of another lower league. But like, let's say NFL. You got the NFL, and you got arena football, and you got USFL. All right, whatever the new one is now, UFL, whatever it is. Those are totally different organizations. The NFL is the highest standard. Under that, you got, arena football, and then you got the USFL. All right, these are lower level football leagues, but separate leagues. You're not gonna mix and mingle. You're not gonna say the NFL MVP of the arena football league. He wouldn't be called the NFL MVP. You wouldn't say that, right? You would call him the arena football MVP, right? So let's not try to twist things up. Alabama political reporter. Let's see here. Miss National American Alabama, Miss Alabama, what's the big deal? Well, I just explained that. They chose to emphasize that Milliken isn't the real Miss Alabama because she's not. As if the significance of her achievement is somehow diminished by the specifics of the pageant she won. This technicality was nothing but a smokescreen to mask their true intention, body shaming. Right? So, I'll link all this so y'all can go check it out for yourselves. But I just kind of wanted to just kind of show y'all that these people out here crazy. They out here crazy, man. Like, they over here nitpicking what somebody else plainly put out and showed evidence for. To say these are two, it's just like they're the crazy ones, and they're trying to tell us that this other news agency is the crazy people. Insane. Let's see here. But let me take that off of there. So that's that on that. That was I would consider that more lighthearted in nature. Talking about this, the young lady and everything, but I don't really want to beat a dead horse. So I'm gonna move on to another story. One more, this is crazy. I didn't even put this in the title, but I do want to share it because this is, we talk, I've been talking about this for quite some time, the whole LGBT agenda. And I know, it's that time of the month, it's that time of the year. I guess they have that time of the month too. But it's June. So, it's their, Pride, Pride month. We call it Demon Month. But out there in LA, out there in West Hollywood, they had this drag show or this Pride parade. But basically it was a drag show. And I got this video. This is from the Hodge twins, the conservative twins, whatever you want to call from YouTube. And they got this video, man. This is why we've been talking about the LGBT individuals and why their agenda is just harmful, right? It's harmful to society, especially kids. And I remember when years and years and years ago, we would talk about this subject and the LGBT people, the supporters of that side, the gays and all. Hey, we don't want anything to do with kids. It's not about kids. It's about adults doing what adults want to do in their own private lives. And we just want to be able to do, live our lives and be with who we want to be with, and nobody say anything about it, right? We want laws to, help us out. That's what they said. That's what they claimed. It wasn't about kids. Well, time after time after time again, they keep emphasizing how much they want kids to be involved in what they're doing. And here's further proof.
Right. Right, but watch what this the mayor of West Hollywood, what he says at the Pride Parade. This is crazy.
He gay?
Oh, he gay.
What has been your favorite part of this event so far?
I loved going out there and seeing all the kids just living and being there with their parents of all shapes and sizes, and just seeing them having so much fun and giving them fans and throwing candy and everything like that.
And shout out to the right-winged angel. Shout out to the right-winged angel. All right. But let's go back. Let's listen to what he said. Now, this is the West Hollywood mayor, all right, saying what he just said. Let's listen again.
Oh, he gay.
What has been your favorite part of this event so far?
I loved going out there and seeing all the kids just living and being there.
All the kids. Okay, now let's see what the kids are watching and seeing and witnessing.
Their parents of all shapes and sizes, and just seeing them having so much fun and giving them fans and throwing candy and everything like that. And then truly just in a world like today to have this right now front and center, we need it now.
So your kids looking at this. Look at
Let's listen in.
this. The kids, everybody.
Oh my goodness.
You cannot.
Really can't. No.
Do y'all see that? What is kid friendly about that? I mean, please let me know what is kid friendly about kids seeing grown men. Man, I can't even explain without sounding just inappropriate. But seeing men in their undies gyrating, some of the men were twerking. I mean, you probably can't see it on that video, but if you watch the video, there are men walking down the street, twerking, dancing. It's just madness. And they kept saying, we don't want the kid. The kids are not going to be involved in this. It's not about the kids. But all of a sudden, it's about kids. They want kids to be involved. They want kids to be there, be a part of it. I mean, anyway, this is why we can't put up with this type of stuff, man. I don't care where you are in America. We can't put up with this type of activity happening with kids. We really can't put up with it with adults because guess what? They always want to say it's only a private thing. They don't want to involve anybody else in their shenanigans. But the thing with sin does not stay trapped. It does not want to be trapped and confined to one person, one group, one place. Sin wants to travel and infect everybody around, right? And the most vulnerable population of people are children. Children soak up everything. So if it's a sinful person, right, teaching a child something, they're teaching that child sinful behaviors, sinful lifestyles. Those are impressionable minds. Their minds are malleable. They're soaking up everything they're seeing, they're watching, and they're going to mimic it, right? That's how kids learn. They learn vicariously, right? Vicariously meaning you don't have to say, hey, come here, little Timmy. I'm going to show you how to twerk, right? All you got to do is in front of Timmy twerk, and now you're teaching Timmy that that's a dance that an adult does, and it's okay because they're doing it in front of me. So that's what you're teaching that child many things by just doing it in front of him. All right? Got to cut that out. Got to cut it out. That's why I have we're not doing that. Don't bring that stuff around my kids, man. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right? You're setting yourself up for a bad day. So anyway, yeah, that's West Hollywood, man. I mean, it's West Hollywood. What you expect, right? That's California. But don't be confused. That stuff is happening right here in Alabama, man. Right in the good state of Alabama. Montgomery, they just had a pride event this past Saturday out there at Oak Park in Montgomery. All right. Now, growing up, Oak Park was known as the gay park. All right. That's just how I grew up. Everybody knew it as that's where the gays go to do what the gays do. All right. That's where they go and they do their thing. And so now we come full circle. Now they doing pride events at Oak Park. All right. So anyway, they just had that. And then also there's an event coming up. I think it's the 23rd. It's a pride event in Prattville, Alabama, which is right up the road from Montgomery. They are here. Like, it's here. right? It's not just California, not just New York. It's not just these liberal cities and states around the country. It's right here. So when something is in your face and threatening to, harm you in whatever way that is, you have to face it. You got to face it. You got to, defend the home court. Now, I mean, that's what you got to do. We got to call it out, and we gotta stop this where it is before it keeps spreading, because it's gonna get worse. It is gonna get worse. All right. A lot of stuff you see happening in California and Northern Virginia and places, you're gonna see more of that happening in Montgomery. All right. We're a lot more conservative, but there's pockets of some nuts. Trust me, there are some nuts in Montgomery. So yeah, I just want to share that. I thought that was something that's, very very real, and they like to say that is not what it really is. And so we're just gonna put it on Front Street and just show y'all what's really happening. Let's see here. Now. We got this article. This right here, if true, this is a bombshell. Now, I would say whoever did this article, shout out to them, because they did a whole bunch of research. My gosh, they did a whole bunch of research. This is extremely detailed. All right. Now, this article is from the Cotton State Chronicle. All right. The chronicle.cc. That's the website. Now, let's look and see what is in here. The shady Montgomery mortgage madam profited and protected by Reed. All right, that's Mayor Reed, Stephen Reed. Let's see here. Nonprofit housing director previously imprisoned for swindler, for being a swindler under mayor's protection, now accused in a major deed fraud scheme to steal homes from dozens of Montgomery residents, and she lives in one of the houses. Now, this article came out June 10th, 2024. All right, yesterday. All right, this is very new. Now, without going in through this whole article, because it's a lot, but I do want to hit certain parts of it. Like I said, it's very detailed. Names are mentioned, and it does include the deaths of at least 2 people that were a part of this whole thing, whether they were complicit in the alleged fraud scheme, or if they were just, kind of casualties of it. All right. I'm not gonna say either way, but let's check this out. Disgraced former director of Georgia housing nonprofit, once convicted for swindling homeowners at risk for foreclosure, is now suspected in a major fraud scheme designed to steal dozens of homes in Montgomery. She lives in one of the stolen properties, according to the United States Attorney's Office of Investigations. All right. And this goes back some years. So Wakanda Nolan, 52, with best friend and longtime crime partner Tita Greer. I'm just reading the article. I don't know these people. I'm just reading the article. All right. So I take it, I don't know which one's which, but these are the ladies right here. Let's see. It says, and Tita Greer, who by 2024 had allegedly stolen some $5 million in insurance, inheritance, and properties. Before Wakanda Nolan, 52, was accused of a grand conspiracy to legally confiscate some 30 homes from law-abiding citizens here in Alabama, she was the director of home ownership programs for the United Community Housing Coalition in Georgia. When she was charged with wire fraud, money laundering, and aggravated identity theft involving the Georgia Housing Authority, ultimately receiving 10 years probation and a fine of $40,000 for trading against her duties as director. So, man, y'all know how people say white privilege, they get away with whatever if you white, you know. No, because this lady right here, I mean, you don't get much, I mean, in the worldly terms of black, it don't get much blacker than her, right? Her name is Wakanda. I mean, come on. She was, this is the feds. All right. We dealing with the feds right here. This lady, I mean, it says housing authority. So yeah, Georgia Housing Authority. That's the feds. But she got 10 years probation. That means she must have did a bunch of I'm thinking she had to have done a little cooperation. All right, to avoid prison. She got fined and she got 10 years probation. That's it. So shout out to her for having that privilege. All right. All right. So anyway, let's keep it going. Her scheme targeted some of our most financially vulnerable citizens and was perpetrated by an individual whose job it was to help those very people avoid foreclosure. This is according to the U.S. Attorney's Office of Investigations. Now more than a decade later, and she's at it again. Only this time, there's the matter of death, which we're now investigating as a possible homicide. All right, and that's according to apparently the U.S. Attorney's Office that said that. Yeah, this gets very deep, and I know y'all probably wondering right now, well, how is Reed associated with this? We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to it. Like I said, it's very detailed, and I just want to go through it so you kind of understand what is being talked about, what was being done, and what is allegedly being done, or what just got done up to this year. Let's see here. Now, you got this right here. City of Montgomery, Office of the Mayor, City Investigations. This is from January 20th, 2022, just a couple years ago. Ms. Ashley V. Norman. Subject: your complaints filed with CI on 10/26/2021 and 10/27/2021. Dear Ms. Norman, as a result of your complaint filed in our office concerning issues with personnel at the Montgomery Municipal Court and Montgomery Police Department, an investigation was initiated and completed by this department. The results of the investigation have been presented to the department head for further action as may be required. Thank you for submitting your complaints. I can assure you they were investigated thoroughly. At this time, we consider the matter closed. Should we need to contact you in the future, we will do so through the address you have already provided. And that's from Director Bill Baruch. All right. So already you're seeing the city of Montgomery is being involved in this situation. All right. Let's see here. Authorities say investigators pressed by the family of the deceased found that Nolan and others conspired to steal more than 30 Montgomery properties in a new fraud scheme. Let's see here. They targeted several carefully selected individuals. One being Ulysses Norman Jr., a Montgomery native and retired Navy veteran who worked for Alabama State Military Department. Norman owned several valuable properties throughout Montgomery as well as the state of Georgia. All right, so you got there's the Montgomery, and then you got Georgia connected as well. Remember, that lady was the director of the some kind of nonprofit over there in Georgia when it came to housing. Let's see here. Many of which he contracted out to the Montgomery Housing Department. There again, the lady Wakanda. She was the director over there of a nonprofit in Georgia dealing with Georgia Housing Department. Now you got this man who owns many properties in Montgomery, and also he contracted out to Montgomery Housing Department. So again, we're getting to the housing, we're getting to the government again, right? He's not just doing private, private individuals or private companies. He's dealing with the government here. So this is the Montgomery local government. Sometime between 2018 and 2021, though a forged marriage license would be backdated 2014, Norman and Nolan began what many suspect was a purely physical affair, as he was a happily single after divorce and she was still married under Georgia law. And they even have, are these the marriage licenses? I believe this is what this is right here. When I tell you they did some digging and some real journalistic work. I mean, this is in depth. So they literally have the Center for Health Statistics licenses. All right, that's a certificate of marriage, Alabama. Both of them. It says phony marriage license definitely forged by Wakanda Nolan, then redone for precise Alabama Department markings, insignia. So providing the Hardwick court cover in accepting the top of the line forgery. So real quick, Hardwick, that's got to be Judge Hardwick. I don't know if his name is Johnny Hardwick. I can't remember. But he's the guy who, I know people remember this. This just happened, earlier this year? His son shot him and stabbed him, right? I think y'all remember that, right? Calfani. And Calfani had previously, was previously a part of an attempted murder. And some kind of way he skated that. I guess because his dad is a judge. Well, this man is a part of this scheme, whether he intentionally was a part of it or just a casualty of the situation, I don't know. But I'm just telling you, based on what that name is, that's who that's talking about. Let's see here. Now, that year, 2021, Ulysses Norman, so that's the guy that was retired Navy, and owned the properties in Montgomery. Ulysses Norman died abruptly by undetermined cause, and Wakanda Nolan, who waited days until a nosy neighbor started making inquiries as to the homeowner's whereabouts before reporting it, put all her years of trickery to good use by somehow managing to add herself to the newly deceased man's property deeds. Interesting. Now, let me say this right here. If I'm not sure about how the laws work on this, but my mind gets to working and I'm like, okay, if she wasn't married to this guy, like, okay, let's say that she was married to him. Let's say he owned properties and then he met her and then they got married. Okay, I would think half of everything that he has would be hers because they're married. Whether he got it before being married to her or after. That's how I would look at that. I don't know what the law would say on that, but I think that's how that works. Now what this article is saying is that she forged the marriage license. So she's using the marriage license to get the benefits of being a wife, therefore going and getting his deeds and everything in her name after he died. All right. And apparently he died under some mysterious circumstances, right? And they don't really know what caused it. But he died, and now she's assuming responsibility and assuming ownership of his properties. Now, the first red flag is, of course, this article, when Montgomery police arrived, Mr. Norman was not taken where he should have been taken, which is Baptist Hospital. He was taken directly to a funeral home, a place called Ross and Clayton's, which has its own list of legal and financial setbacks against it, not to mention obvious moral failings, says Brent Marshall, an attorney from Sidley Austin, Los Angeles, hired by the Norman family. Now let's talk about that for a second. So when a person dies, if the coroner is called, right? So if the death is, they're not sure of the cause, or there seems to be maybe foul play or something like that, the coroner is called, and the body is not moved, is not taken anywhere until the coroner comes and sees the body and takes pictures and does the investigation work. All right. Then the coroner will take the body where it needs to go for an autopsy. Okay. But if the person dies and it's just deemed to be natural causes, or purely an accident or something like that, then the funeral home will come get the body, and the body is not going to be taken to a coroner. All right. I just know that. I've dealt with this type of thing. That's how it works. Unless there's a reason right then and there for an autopsy or for an investigation, there's no reason why the coroner is going to come and get that body. Okay. So I don't know what his cause of death was. I don't know. Did he eat something? Did he die? Did he, I don't know the situation. I just don't so I don't know. I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna leave that alone. Now, then there's the matter of the falsified Montgomery police report. Okay, falsified Montgomery police report saying that he was taken to the hospital when my client personally spoke to first on-scene officer Hartley, who's since collaborated everything my clients have attested to, and even went so far as to contact her supervisor on the very day in question because Wakanda Nolan was acting like a suspicious, money-grubbing killer even then. Screaming and carrying on about so many folks being present outside the home. Nolan and others allegedly perpetuated. Well, I can't read. I'm getting slow. Anyway, Nolan and others allegedly perpetuated a scheme, according to Marshall's complaint, to quote unquote defraud by claiming and forging a marriage license, before then filing multiple fraudulent quitclaim deeds. Frequently transferring Ulysses Norman's more than a dozen properties from the Norman name to her name, or to non-existent quote unquote interim owners, before ultimately selling the properties to unwitting third parties. That sounds deep. That sounds very deep. I'm just reading to y'all what I'm seeing. Let's see here. So basically, according to the Norman family, his body was supposed to have been taken to Baptist Hospital. And apparently the police reported, they put in their report that he was taken to the hospital. That's basically what this is saying. Okay? It said there's a falsified Montgomery police report saying that he was taken to the hospital. Right? So I don't know. I don't know if that's in black and white, or if that's just the police officers said that out loud, but it's not in black and white. I don't know. If that's in black and white, there's definitely an issue. Because if they put in their police report that a body was taken to the hospital and the body wasn't taken to the hospital, it was taken straight to a funeral home. Okay, and you got an issue on that. All right, you can't falsify that. You can't put that in writing. Man. Okay, so now we get to some other names that get involved in this situation. So these quit claim deeds. All right, I don't know what that is. Never heard of it. also known as non-warranty deeds, can be used to transfer property and clear titles, according to both Alabama's Secretary of State and the Georgia Department of Revenue, which states that sellers tend to be more willing to transfer property through these types of deeds. Nolan and someone else, all right, so it's talking about Wakanda Nolan and someone else, a couple others actually, being Tita Greer and Larissa Corshon, two longtime Montgomery residents with tangible ties to City Hall and figures who would prove crucial to Nolan's schemes, apparently falsely notarized the fraudulent deeds to make them look legitimate, allowing them to file the fake documents with the Register of Deeds, according to the complaint. So now we're getting to where this Nolan lady, so she meets this man. He's newly divorced. She gets with him. He owns these properties. She already has a history, apparently, of doing forgery and frauds and all that type of stuff when it comes to housing. So she uses all her talents for doing that to use his death as a way to gain possession of his properties, sell those off, and then also she's using these couple of people who are tied to City Hall and tied to certain departments that where she can get deeds written and transferred and that type of thing. She's using these people to further her fraud activities. All right, that's what I'm seeing so far, right? So just so we're all on the same page. Let's see here. Real quick, got a what's up, loser? Appreciate you being here. Said morning, Captain. Good morning. Wakanda question mark? Yeah. Boy, ain't no question. She black. Oh man. I don't even believe in race. But man, the way that the world explains being black, boy, she is definitely black. You ain't gonna find a female that the world calls white named Wakanda. I mean, come on. Wow. All right, let's get back to this story. Now, let's see here. Okay, so let's look at this right here. It says Nolan emailed a Montgomery County Treasurer's Office employee fake driver's licenses and other documents that were uploaded into the Treasurer's Property Tax Administration system. Two pending foreclosures. The U.S. Attorney's Office of Investigations suspects. All right, they suspect that's what happened. Nolan received payment for at least some of the properties via wire transfer into a bank account in the name of a Shell SSC. I mean, Shell LLC, which we now believe was created by Tita Greer, who also worked for the IRS at the time. Wow. When she and Nolan then transferred proceeds from that account to Nolan's personal bank account, Marshall states. All right, so Marshall, he's in the U.S. Attorney's Office, okay? So then it's got a question. What is deed fraud? So what is that? Montgomery County Register of Deeds Office initially indicated that a number of complaints to its deed fraud task force and an investigation led to suspicion of Nolan. Yet nowadays, the Reid administration has been anything but helpful, and we begin to know why. In any case, the Alabama Attorney General's office defines deed theft as when someone takes the title to another person's home without the homeowner acknowledging or approving it. And they got email. It's an email from somebody regarding this. I mean, again, this is very detailed. They have a lot of information in this article. And I didn't even get through half of what's here. I'm not even through half of it. And I'm not gonna go through this whole thing, but there's a lot. There is a whole lot. Let's see here. It says Montgomery Housing Authority, Shatika Provo first got wind of a conspiracy in mayor's office after attorneys secretly linked to both sides warned her quiet. It commonly happens through forgery, where the scammer fakes the homeowner's signature on a deed that they then claim that they then file with a county clerk, or fraud, where unbeknownst to the homeowner, they sign their deed over to a scammer without realizing that they're actually signing, according to the Attorney General's office. So there's just different ways that they can do this fraud. They perpetuate this fraud. They got more evidence of communication with the city. It says municipal investigation leading to the mayor's office was ultimately cut off by Mayor Stephen Reed. Rick Allenbick, I'm not sure how you say his last name, but Rick Allenbick, a veteran attorney specializing in cases of deed theft, wrongful foreclosure sales, and fraudulent loans, told the news outlet it's harder to cash a $5 check at a bank than it is to record a deed that could steal the title to someone's home that they worked for decades to build up equity in. Wow. Easier, I mean, it says harder to cash a $5 check at a bank than basically commit this fraud. Retired 85-year-old Robert Elder, who owned a property in Southwest Alabama, said he became a deed theft victim when his former stepson stole the home that he owned for over 50 years through forged signatures, according to the Chronicle.cc. So that's just that's a whole nother person, whole nother situation, but just basically showing you it's easy to do this fraud if you know what you're doing. Basically, is what it's saying. So Ashley Norman reached out to the city or whatnot, and then Mike Thomas messaged her back or emailed her saying, "Good afternoon. Thanks for the information. Please be advised, our office will not initiate an investigation into this matter due to the pending probate civil action." All right. And he is Chief of Investigations, all right, Office of the District Attorney, Montgomery, Alabama. So he was declining to investigate Ulysses Norman's death after Stephen Reed called it a pending civil matter. The news outlet reported that someone filed a new deed on Elder's home 3 times. Okay, it's about the Elder guy. I don't want to read about him. Wow. I mean, this thing gets really deep. So there's the Tita Greer lady, basically on Facebook, allegedly, she seems to be gloating and bragging about getting away with fraud. Yeah, I mean, just to be real, just from what they're showing. All right. Yeah, she's talking about direct deposits and deeds and all type of stuff. Wow. Riding dirty in the city's vehicle, same thing that makes you laugh, makes you cry, ring, ring, hello, mayor's office. Yeah, I don't know, man. Wow. She said, old soldier boy bought them houses and Queen Cleopatra got all the deeds. I mean, is she talking about that situation? I don't know. I'm just I'm just reporting what I'm seeing. Um, so here's more about the death of Mr. Nolan. So the day we heard our father had died, my brother and I immediately left our home in Florida and came to Montgomery, says Ashley Norman, the daughter of the deceased. Our family went to obtain an attorney to probate my father's estate, since we instantly knew Nolan falsely claiming to be married to my father, and there we were advised that nothing could be done until my father had a death certificate. Well, because my father was taken to a hospital and an autopsy was never done, excuse me, because her father was not taken to a hospital and an autopsy was never done, and it was immediately clear that malfeasance was afoot, we hired a coroner from out of state and was told that an autopsy could take weeks to come back. At which time, I decided to hurry back to Florida to retrieve my father's DD 214 so we could give him a proper military service burial in Montgomery. And then they want to take him back to Florida to be buried in a military cemetery. While the family awaited autopsy results and a death certificate had yet to be issued in the legally required 5 days, Ulysses Norman's accounts were never frozen and the fraudsters went to work, with Nolan having now sole access to the late man's phone and wallet and all other sensitive materials. So basically, they're saying that the lady Wakanda got to going on shopping sprees and paying all bills and credit card, all type of stuff, with his money. Again, she was allegedly married to him. So at his death, so she's apparently, all right, allegedly a widow at this time. So if she's the widow, she has all authority. All right, I would presume she has all authority to do what she wants to with that money because she was, if she was really married to him, right? Now, if she forged the information and there was no marriage and anything like that, well, now that all of this is, now it gets into more forgery and fraud and that type of thing, right? So let's see. All right, let's skip down just a little bit. From the moment it became clear that the Norman family was not going to take this lying down, stonewalling began. Tita Greer, that name comes up again, Tita Greer and Larissa Croshan, presumably called in favors from their own families in city government. Unusual for a mayor, Reed took a personal interest in the fledgling scandal before it gained traction in the public, speaking against an investigation in the matter while ignoring over 20 direct requests from the family. All right, so basically he was trying to get out in front of a situation that the public wasn't aware of. There was no news stories about it, anything like that. But he found it important enough to speak out on it, right? Speak out against it. All right, but it says that the family reached out to him directly, and he ignored that. Former police chief Ernest Finley had a meeting with the family, along with white collar crime and the homicide detectives, all of who were provided CID with some 300 pages of irrefutable proof of the financial crimes and theft that had taken place. And the family was told a thorough investigation would be conducted. And so right here you got paperwork. This is from 2010. Oh, no. Yeah, it's like 2010. United States District Court for Northern District of Georgia. And that was it says Wakanda Nolan's previous indictment, case file for housing authority fraud scheme in Georgia. So that's where that's from. Right? So yeah, they got all the goods. United States, boy, when it says United States versus, boy, you know it's bad. You know it's bad when it says United States versus anything, anybody. Oh my God. Yeah. So that goes all the way back to like 2006 with her doing that. So basically, I'm going to just link it. I gave enough information to where people can go and check it out, read the article. I read the whole thing. Again, very, very detailed. They've got paperwork, they got emails. I mean, they got dang near everything except phone conversations, like recorded phone conversations. They got everything else. Man, if it's found out that Mayor Reed was protecting certain individuals that were a part of this fraud, right? And or he was also benefiting from the fraud, that's some huge information, right? We may be looking at something that it kind of blows up. It gets way bigger than just going at this lady who was, known for doing fraud. If the mayor's office gets involved in that, or there's some kind of connection that's proven through a court, man, Montgomery is in a bad situation. We're already in a bad situation, streetwise. Also, we're looking at the city council having issues. There's a split between the city council, and I'm gonna mention something about that as well. I got a little something I want to say about that. But there is, I mean, from top to bottom, we're seeing so much corruption. We're seeing so many people at odds with each other. So much death going on in the streets that's not truly being addressed, all right, in a real way. It's just a bunch of talk. We're in a bad way, and I said before, I've said many times, we are headed to looking and being like Jackson, Mississippi. I want people to look up Jackson, Mississippi and read about the issues that they've been facing for years. Look who's in their leadership, right? Look at their chief of police, look at their mayor, look at their city council, look how they interact with each other and with the people of the city. Look at all the death and crime that goes on in Jackson, Mississippi. That's a smaller town than Montgomery. All right. And they almost double us in homicide. All right. Crazy. We are headed in that direction from the corruption standpoint, from the crime, the just lawlessness, people just allowed to do what they want to do. All right. Now, I want to talk about this other thing going on with city council. I saw this got, sent around. I personally, I don't know if it was real or not, but I got a lot to say about it. I really want to point some things out about this. Let me see if I can share this without. Let me see if I can share it without showing y'all who sent it to me. Hold on a second. So there was this note, right? This note that was allegedly. Okay, here we go. I can show it without showing y'all who sent it to me. All right, let's see here. So there's this message, right? This was sent to me. I saw other people posting about it. And I even shared this, made a post about it, and a city councilman responded. Now, this message was apparently from Marsha Johnson, who's a city council woman, and she sent this to specific individuals on the council. Now the message says, hey crew, we can't allow Julie, Glenn, Grimes, Jamel, Keith, and Spencer take over this council. We must support our mayor no matter if he's wrong. They want a takeover of the mayor and council, and we can't allow it. Let's fight like hell for Mayor Reed. Now, like I said, I'm not going to share where I got that from, but here's the thing. Shout out to Ms. Johnny Mae O'Berry. I saw your video that you did a few nights ago, or I think it may have been like Friday night, Saturday night, one of them nights. I saw your video and you were addressing this in particular. Now, apparently somebody sent that to her and then she was talking about it or did a video about it or whatever, exposing this situation. But according to Ms. Johnny Mae O'Berry, a first cousin of Marsha Johnson reached out and said that Marsha didn't send that. That was not a real message or whatever. Now, here's the thing. Personally, I don't care what somebody's relation is to another person. Just because a loved one says that another loved one didn't do something, that doesn't mean that they didn't do it. How many times have we seen husbands take up for wives, wives take up for husbands, lie for them? How many times have we seen mamas and daddies lie for their kids? Right? Happens all the time. We watched Carly Russell, the lady up there in Birmingham that lied about getting kidnapped and lied about seeing a little boy 2-3 years old with no shirt on running up and down the interstate. Right? Complete lie. We saw her mama and daddy, after we all knew it was a lie, they went on the Today Show and kept lying and telling us that she was kidnapped. There was a little boy, right? So people will lie for loved ones, all right? So I don't just believe because a first cousin said that Marsha Johnson didn't say that she didn't say that. That's not how I operate. And I operate like this. Marsha Johnson has been nothing but a loyalist to Mayor Reed. Please, anybody, show me where Marsha Johnson has gone against Mayor Reed publicly. I want somebody to show that to me. Okay, you don't have to do it today. You don't got to do it tomorrow. Over the next week or two, somebody inbox me or make a post and tag me in it or something. Show me where she has gone against Mayor Reed publicly, right? So what I'm saying is she's a loyalist. So is it far-fetched for me or anybody else to believe that message was sent by her and it was sent to certain individuals on that council in support of Mayor Reed? That's not too far-fetched. Based on her own actions over years, okay? Over years. So did she send it? I don't know. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. But she had been showing that she believes that just by her actions. What was said in that message, she's been living that out on that council. Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it real. Now, I did share that message and ask, hey, and I did ask, hey, is this real? And I commented or I tagged Arondé Mitchell, and I also tagged Ed Grimes. And Arondé Mitchell, he did reply. I'm about to find the message and I'm gonna show y'all. And Arondé Mitchell, man, you are welcome to come on my show. I've already invited you several times. come on my show. You know what I'm saying? I've seen you doing other people's shows, so you've been around doing shows and things. Come on my show. I know I'm not gonna be one of them shows where you can just get away with whatever, saying whatever you want to say, but let's you know, I'm just reporting things honestly, right? I'm just giving the real. I'm not gonna be over here trying to fake the funk and try to just tell people what they want to hear. That's not what I'm about. So you're welcome to come on my show. With that being said, now this was the post, right? So this was the post, and I said, "Is this a real message sent by Councilwoman Marsha Johnson?" And I tagged Ed Grimes and Arondé Mitchell. And Arondé Mitchell responded and said, "It wasn't sent to me, and I don't believe this is from Councilor Johnson." Okay. Now, in that response, number one, he didn't deny that that was a real message. Right? He didn't deny that was a real message. So if there was a message that was allegedly sent, right? You know, I would probably say like that's not a real message. Like that don't exist or whatever, you know. But it's not. It's more. He went more the route of it wasn't sent to me, and I don't believe it came from her. All right. Again, just because he said that doesn't mean that it's not a real message or that it wasn't sent to him. Like, it doesn't mean that. It just means that he's saying he didn't get it and he don't believe that she wrote that. All right. But the message is probably a real message. All right. Now, if that was a real message sent by Marsha Johnson to specific members of that council, and I could almost guess who got it, right? The main, you know, the Reed, I call them the Reed three. Arondé, CC, and Marsha. Them the main three, right? Anything Mary Reed wants to do, they gonna do it. It just is what it is. Now, appreciate it, loser. Appreciate you, man. You have a great one. Thank you for tuning in. So the thing is, if that's a real message, if that really was sent, there should be grounds for removal, right? If that turned out to be a real message that she did send, she should be removed from council based on that. You know, it's one thing to play politics, right? Play politics meaning, you know, they tell the mayor, "Hey, mayor, you know, you ride with me on this, I'll get you on the next thing, whatever." You know, that happens all the time. But it's another thing to say, "Yo, we're gonna get his back no matter if he's wrong. He can be right, wrong, whatever. We got his back no matter what." You're not benefiting the people of Montgomery dealing like that, right? That has no benefit to us, the citizens of Montgomery, saying that you are going to defend him no matter what. That's not how that works, right? Likewise, people call me a Trump loyalist, right? But I was very critical of certain things that Trump was pushing for and promoting, right? Number one was LGBT. Number two was that vaccine. Okay, I was very vocal about I wasn't with it. So how's that being a loyalist? I openly denounced certain things. But like I said, where it has Marsha Johnson openly denounced something that Reed said, I'll wait for somebody to send that to me. But like I said, if she did send that, she got to go. Because that's beyond playing politics. Again, that's at the demise of us, the citizens. You shouldn't be standing with a politician like that. You're supposed to be representing your constituents. And she's District 4, if I'm not mistaken. That's the north side. That's you know, like what, Ripley Street. That's Charlestown, Newtown. that's that over there, right? I think King Hill, she got all that. So the people that's over there, I mean, if I'm living over there, man, I want to know what is going on. Is she really being like that? But whether she sent that or not, she has shown over years of being on the council that she gonna go with Mayor Reed on everything. So I wouldn't want her to be my city council person. Definitely wouldn't want that. This city, man, we in some trouble. We in some trouble, man. I know the state switching gears a little bit, but when it comes to the crime part, the state is trying to put some things together to where the state can come and take over the police department. They can hire the chief, fire the chief, and the mayor of a certain city. They wouldn't even have the power of controlling the police department. So they gonna keep playing around. Birmingham, Montgomery, Selma, these different towns with that the crime is just ridiculous. Keep playing around, and you're gonna end up having the state intervene. Now people are mad because they feel like if the state wanted to do something, the state would do something about these guns, right? They always go to the guns. You gotta stop these guns from stop permitless carry. You gotta stop having certain guns and certain types of ammunition and certain this and that. Criminals don't care about laws about when it comes to abiding by a law. Like when we had permit carry, right? When you had to go get that permit, pay that $20 a year or whatever it was, we still have people out here committing robberies with guns and shooting people and all that because they don't care about going to get a permit. If you're a criminal, why would you go get a permit? Right? They want to be under the radar. They don't want people to know that they have a gun. So they won't go get a permit. They're just gonna have their gun illegally. I mean, they're literally committing crimes. So that does nothing. Right? But people are so worried and so caught up and focused on the gun situation that they're not really looking at the things that the state can do to help us all. Now, what the state can do is when these guys shoot up a car, shoot up a house, a business, or whatever the case is, whether somebody gets hit or not, you put that person, they need to make a minimum, state minimum sentence in prison. So if you fire the weapon, and it hits a building or a place of business, house, car, whatever, just for shooting it, you should get a minimum of 5 years or 7 years or something, right? There should be a time frame, guaranteed minimum sentence just for doing it. If you're found guilty, you go to prison. If you come back out, right, you serve your time, come back out, you do it again, all right? You up that. Okay, now you're looking at 25, 30 years. Like they got to do something like that. Okay, because the issue is a lot of people who are committing these violent crimes are the same people that keep doing it over and over and over again because the system has allowed them to be able to commit the crime, plead out to it, get little to no time, come back out, or before they even get sentenced, they bond out. And while they're on bond for an attempted murder, they go and kill somebody. Or they go and rob 8 people. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's the issue here. Issue across the board. And Representative Philip Isler, he messaged me, well, not messaged me, but he commented on a post that I commented under his post. And he was talking about the bail reform and, bail reform and again, talking about gun ownership, that's an issue, and having switches on guns, making guns automatic, They got law. He pushing laws against that. He pushing laws for different neighborhood services and this different all these things. Right? This is a state representative. He listed about a good 8 points, 8 bills or something like that he's trying to push for. None of it had anything about the family in it. None of it had anything about let's like incentivize and let's encourage families, a man and a woman, to get together and stay together and raise their families. Like nothing was looking at that. It's all about these little cookie cutter laws that do nothing. Or we're gonna help these nonprofits, or we're gonna help these. It's always these outside of the home type of things that don't help in the home, right? The government has no issue coming in and splitting up a household and saying, "Move along, Dad. We'll take care of this wife. This mother and children." They have no problem doing that. But when it comes to when you start saying, "Hey, let's do things that encourage families to get together," all of a sudden, we the government, we can't do that. We're not in the business of putting families together. Like we don't do that, right? It's that Stephen Reed effect. When Stephen Reed has something positive, when it's a business comes to Montgomery, when Meta, Facebook comes to Montgomery, when Amazon comes to Montgomery, and so on and so forth, he's all about, oh, I did that right there, and yeah, we're building Montgomery up and all this. But when 5 people get killed in a matter of 3 days in Montgomery, all of a sudden I don't have nothing to do with that, man. That's these state representatives need to do better, and they need to look at something like. So you take all the credit when it's good for you, but when it's negative, all of a sudden you don't have nothing to say about it. Same thing when it comes to people like Philip Insler and these other state reps that are similar in thoughts of as him. They'll do everything to take credit for certain things that really don't matter. But when it comes to a bill that can really completely change and reduce the crime and increase education, they don't even talk about it. All of a sudden, they can't do that. They become deaf, dumb, and blind out of nowhere. But boy, you mentioned something about automatic weapons. Oh yeah, we got a bill for that. I'm putting together this bill right now. We're gonna really tackle this gun issue. It's really harming people. That's not gonna fix anything, man. I mean, how many times you got to? How many years do you need to see something happening before you like, you know what, that ain't working? We got 30 plus years of looking at gun violence all over the place. Look at Chicago. Chicago has some of the toughest gun laws in the country. And they have some of the highest murder rate, highest gun violence in the country. So the laws ain't doing it. The laws are not doing it. We got to stop looking in the wrong direction. Do things that really work. Fathers in the home, mothers in the home, that works. It's proven. We got 100 plus year history of knowing that it works. It's tried and true. All right, let's figure out ways for that. Until y'all want to do that, all this other stuff y'all trying to push, all these other laws and bills and things, is not going to help. It hasn't been helping, and it's not going to help. Period. I don't know how many times I got to say this. I guess I got to say this like for the next 30 years. I'm going to be 60-something years old saying the same thing because these people they still ain't understanding. I feel like sometimes they don't want to understand. I think that sometimes they really just want to just keep kicking the can down the road and just staying in power and just keep saying the same thing. We're gonna push this right here. We're gonna really stop it this time. We're gonna really make a difference this time with this bill. They just keep pushing down the road. Crime still happening. Kids still getting killed. One day we gotta build up our boys and girls clubs. We need more community centers, and Same thing. We'll be 30 years from now. They gonna say the same stuff. Same stuff they saying now. They gonna say that stuff 30 years from now. It ain't working now. It ain't gonna work then. Crazy. And that's my rant on that. Let's see what else we got happening. What else we have? Let me put. I'm gonna put in these articles. Oh man, thank y'all for being here too, man. Hit that like, share the video. I would appreciate it. Head over to the Captain's Quarters Show Facebook page. Hit the like, hit the follow. I appreciate that. On my way to my first 100 followers on that page. Thank you. If you're watching on YouTube, head over to or go to my YouTube channel. From Left to Right USA, hit the like and hit that subscribe. I'm at like 875 right now. On my way to my first 1,000. I appreciate it. What am I doing here? What are we doing? I'm doing my show based on God, music, news, and politics. So all of that and everything in between, right? So if it's hot topics, news stories, things that are faith related, I'm discussing it, right? I am discussing it, and I'm giving y'all just an honest commentary on. I'm giving y'all the facts, and then I'm giving y'all my commentary based on the facts. That's what I do over here. I'm not just coming over here just talking out my you know what about something that I have no idea what I'm talking about, right? So if you like it, hit that like. I appreciate it. And get engaged with the content. Ask questions, whatever. You can comment. You can also join the page or join the conversation on the show. There's my there's a link to join the show right there. If you want to, you can do that. But I will be wrapping up here pretty short. I might be on here for like another 10, 15 minutes. So I'll leave it open for the next, 15 minutes or so. If somebody wants to jump on here and discuss something, ask a question, you have something to add to the conversation, you're welcome to do so. Let's see, I'm still gonna be putting these articles into the comment. Oh man. So I put all those links, everything that I discussed today, I that I showed y'all links for and articles and everything is in the comment. So that's where I got everything from. Yep. So y'all can go check that out for yourselves, man. And shout out to the conservative twins, the Hodge twins, whatever they want to be called. Shout out to them. I did use their video. Hopefully they, are cool with that. I don't get copyrighted or anything like that. But shout out to them, man. Again, it is hot than a mug outside. I'm looking outside, man. The heat, how you look out, how you look like out on the street and you see like the heat waves moving. I'm looking outside my window right now, and I can see the heat waves like just moving. Like it's just like oven outside. Like by like you put that oven on 450, and then it heats up, and then you open up that door, and all them heat waves come out. That's what it looks like outside right now. This is crazy. This is crazy. And again, I don't even subscribe to the whole global warming thing. It's just hot, man. It's Alabama. It's hot. It's been like this since I was a kid. You know, the only difference is it ain't gotten hotter, as people will say. It's hotter now. No, it's not. It's just that as you get older, your body is less tolerable to the heat. So it feels hotter to you. Like when you're 12 years old, you can do whatever, man. It can be 100 degrees outside. I remember being like 10, 11, 12, 13, being outside all day in 100-degree weather. And I mean, you just drink water and Gatorade and you just keep going. We play basketball, baseball, football, kickball. We did everything. But now, you know what I'm saying, being in my 30s is like the heat is just different because my body is not the same as it was when I was 11 years old. So that's really what it is, man. I think people are just they getting caught up in all that climate change mess, but it's like your body is just changing. So you have to adjust. You have to be aware that your body is different, and that's why it feels different outside. It's always been hot, man. It's Alabama. And again, this is the time. I have an open door policy at the Captain's Quarter show. Here's the link right here to join the show if you want to add your 2 cents or whatever the case. You know, I know there's a lot of keyboard warriors, man. They love commenting on posts and they love tagging me and stuff and talking about this and talking about that. But when I say, yo, see, I started doing this right here. People used to, they always do that. They always do that keyboard warrior stuff where they can just talk about all kind of stuff. And then, you know, they love to go back and forth on the web, right? On them keyboards. But what I started to do is I started saying, you know what? I'm just going to invite all these people to my show. So anytime they get to talking, I'll just say, yo, I got my show, the Captain's Quarter show. Come on my show. We can discuss it. Every time I say that, they stop talking. It shuts them up every time. They're done talking. Either one, they're going to just be done talking, period. They're going to leave me alone. Or two, they're going to comment, oh, don't nobody want to come on your raggedness show. And this, like, so they have no problem commenting on a raggedy post, right? But coming on a raggedy show, that's too far. You know what I'm saying? They can comment to my raggedy post or my raggedy comment. That's fine. They'll go back and forth with me all day long, typing words. But coming on to my show, actually looking at me, my face on here and talking to me like a man or like a woman, that's too far, right? So that's what I started doing. I just started inviting them on here, and then that shuts them up. They leave me alone then. I love it. I love it. I got somebody that sent me a message earlier. Where's that message at? This dude been tagging me and stuff, and now he over here trying to message me about something. Let me see what he's talking about. But I done told him come on my show, and he over here talking about I don't want to come. I don't want to come on the show. I don't do that. It's not safe or whatever. Like, what are you talking about? What was he talking about? I don't know who he's talking about, man. So this dude sent me a message saying you should reach out to his office and invite him on your show. Who are you talking about? I know you ain't talking about Stephen Reed, because I saw Stephen Reed face to face, in person. I spoke to him face to face, 1-on-1. I invited him on my show. He ain't came on the show yet. And I did reach out to his office. He told me who to reach out to. I did that, send the email and everything. Has he ever got back with me? No. All right. Now, one thing I ain't gonna do is gonna keep on asking you to do something. Like if you tell me you're gonna do it, and then I say okay, cool, and then I do my part to reach out, and you don't come, you don't fulfill your duty. Like okay, I'm cool. Like I'm not gonna keep on like begging somebody. I'm not gonna do that. All right, not gonna do it. Not going to keep on going back. So I know he ain't talking about Stephen Reed. If so, I already talked to him face to face. He already know how I feel about stuff. I mean, I invited him already. I did that last summertime. So almost a year ago. He ain't came on yet. He ain't never acknowledged anything about me. All right. So other than when I saw him in person. Let's see. And then I don't think he's about Rondé Mitchell either, because I got Rondé's cell phone number. I texted Rondé. I can call him right now if I wanted to. He's talking about him either. So I don't know. I'm not sure he's talking about reach out to their office. How about you reach out to his office and get him on your show? How about that? He might come on your show because y'all probably more politically. See, Mayor Reed, he only engages with people that is politically convenient to engage with, or is beneficial for him. If it's beneficial for him, he'll come on your show. He'll talk to you, do a sit down there, all kind of stuff. But let you disagree with him on things or make it a little hot for him. He don't want to be bothered. That man is not gonna be bothered. He don't care nothing about what you got going on. All right. He wants to be in an echo chamber. All right. The only person that I know of show that he goes to quite regularly that don't agree with him is Kevin Elkins. He'll do Kevin Elkins' show, right? But you know, I'm just saying. And even on there, he kind of does a little wiggle, his little wiggle thing, his little snake activity, and try to slime his way up out of a questioner. But yeah, man, that man is a pure politician, right? Lie to get by. He is a pure politician. Lie to get by. Well, let me see what's happening in these news, man. We got so many. I'm gonna wrap up in just a little bit. 2 hours in. Let's see. I did say it was gonna be a long show. Uh, man, 12-year-old dies a week after being shot in Montgomery, according to police. 12 years old. The deadly shooting of a Montgomery child has prompted a homicide investigation. A police spokeswoman says a 12-year-old girl was shot in the 4100 block of Keating Drive sometime before 2:30 a.m. on May 31st. The child was taken to a local hospital and later transferred to a hospital in Birmingham. She was pronounced dead on June 7th. Sad, man, sad. Let's see. A balloon release was held for the victim Friday after she died, where family identified her as India Knight. And her mother, Bria Knight, spoke out and said, "I never imagined having to live without her." Wow. Wow. Major Saba Coleman said this is Montgomery's 32nd homicide, which I just sent that out yesterday. I put a message out saying that we had officially had 32 confirmed homicides for the year. And actually back in 2011, we had 31 homicides for the entire year. And as a matter of fact, before Mayor Reed got in office, we basically averaged in the late 90s and early 2000s, in that range, we used to have like 25, 27 homicides a year. On the higher end, we would have like 31, 32, 33. And then once you got to like the 2010s, 2013, 15, we got up to, averaging more like 40. But since Reed been in office, we've been well over 60, right? Well over 60. We've had in 2019, that was a year he was there for like maybe like half or less than half the year. We had 42 homicides that year. 2020, we had 74, I think. And that was a record. That was a record at the time. That broke the homicide record. Then 2021, the very next year, we broke that record. And we had 77. And to date, that's the most ever in Montgomery. And then in 2022, we had another like 63. And then last year we had 75. And now this year, we're at 32. And it's June the 11th. Right? So we're on pace right now to hit about another 65 to 75. This is the new Montgomery that Mayor Reed has been talking about, I guess. He keeps talking about our new Montgomery. I guess this is it. We are here. We are here. Man. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. And I don't know if y'all can see my shirt. Man, can y'all see my shirt? Let me get this off of here. Get that off of there for a second. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord. All right. If you like a shirt like this right here or something else that's pro-God, pro-America, if you like a shirt, a hoodie, a hat, whatever the case is, head over to theofficertatumstore.com. Check out their merchandise. All right. I have several shirts from them. Great quality. I love the messaging on the shirts. But if you like what they have, add it to your cart. Once you get the checkout, put in my discount code ELIS is right there. ELIS and receive 10% off your total. All right. It works. I use it myself. It works as long as there's no other promotion going on at the time, right? So if there's no promotion, when you get to the officertatumstore.com, when you get to checkout, put in discount code ELIS and receive 10% off your total, right? Every little bit helps nowadays because, my gosh, everything's high. Everything is high. I mean, you can't even breathe the air because it's high. They're gonna have an oxygen tax before too long on at the federal level. We keep letting Biden stay in there. They're gonna have an oxygen tax. They're gonna say you have to pay a tax on just breathing the air, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. They trying to nickel and dime us to death. But anyway, thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for watching. This was another episode. I think this is number 32. Episode 32 of the Captain's Quarters Show, hosted by Milliner. Be on the lookout. Be here this Friday, June 14th. I will have Adonis Huffman joining me. He has been in the PBA tournaments, bowling tournaments. All right, he's from right here in Montgomery, Alabama. We're going to discuss his journey as well as his outreach to the youth when it comes to bowling. So tune in for that this Friday morning, June 14th at 9 a.m. right here on the Captain's Quarters Show, hosted by Milliner. Thank y'all for being here. Appreciate it. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, y'all stay cool if you can. And tell those that you love, tell them you love them. All right. And until next time, I am